What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to break down the tape of Azeez Ojulari and talk about what this guy has flashed on tape. Ojulari is one of those guys that came out of Georgia with a ton of upside, was never able to fully put it together, but he's also one of those guys that has a ton of upside. He's one of those guys that if you're able to develop him just a little bit, that this guy could actually be a good, productive football player. And in this video, one of the things we're going to look at with Ojulari is we're going to get into some of the traits that this guy shows, some of the pass rush potential that he has as well. I think one of the go-to moves that this guy has is really that side sweep that he kind of does. There's actually two things that he goes to pretty often. This is one of them here. Essentially, it's going to be a ghost move with the left hand, and then he's going to jump outside and punch with the right hand. So this is going to be one of the go-to moves right here with Ojulari. Left hand lands to the inside chest, right hand hits the outside hand of this offensive tackle. And that punch right there with the right hand is going to allow him to hit the corner. And on this one, he gets the quarterback. Another move that Ojulari does a lot is going to be this one here. Keep in mind, he's going to get chipped on this one by the running back. But you will see him kind of utilize this. It's not necessarily a ghost rush, but it is going to be power to speed. All right, so he's going to get both hands into the offensive tackle. He's going to push the offensive tackle backwards. And as soon as the offensive tackle starts to lean forward, he's going to just kind of side sweep him. Right, jumps outside, he's going to pull him a little bit, and just straight up wins with an outside move. And again, this is going to be one of the go-to moves with Ojulari, and it definitely works really, really well. Now, I do think he has to continue to develop the pass rush technique, but I do think there's potential. And sometimes when a guy hits year 5 or 6 or 7, that's when he really is able to put it together. Another thing to note with Ojulari is that over the past 3 years, he's been a rotational player, so he's only played about 1,100 snaps. So the guy's still kind of inexperienced a little bit, right? There's pass rushes that he sometimes does where it just doesn't work perfectly, and here's an example of that. This is a move that I really did not see him try to do until this year. And it works sometimes it doesn't. But essentially what he's trying to do is he's trying to set this guy up with the fake towards the inside, and then essentially he's trying to jump outside, potentially dip past the left tackle. And it just doesn't work all that well. To be honest, he kind of gets caught by the left tackle. It's a pretty good job here by the rookie left tackle. But to me, these are the things that he has to continue to develop. And again, only 1,100 snaps in the past 3 years. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of upside with this guy. There are a lot of plays on tape where this guy just explodes out of his stance and he basically blows up the play in the backfield. Again, 6'3.5", 250 pounds, moves really, really, really well. And you oftentimes don't see that type of size and quickness in some of these other defensive linemen in the NFL. Now, overall, as a pass rusher, Ojulari still needs to continue to develop. He has to fine-tune the technique, really put together the movement. But he is developing, right? He's definitely looked better over the course of this past season than any of the seasons in the past. But he has to be able to just kind of come together and put it all together and really develop that pass rush. Now, when I said earlier he has a pass rush plan, one of the things you will see with this guy is pair up multiple moves. Here's another example of that, where he's going to fake towards the inside. He's going to hezzy right out of his stance. You can see that movement right there on tape. Right, it's a fake inside move. And then he's going to come back to the outside. And with that, he's going to end up just going straight to a rip move. So it's a pretty good job being able to pair together a 1-2. He's going to generate a little bit of pressure on the quarterback on this one. But he has to just be a little bit more consistent. He just has to be able to continue to do this where he truly, truly feels comfortable with the different pass rush moves. And again, Ojulari is not going to come to the Philadelphia Eagles day one and be a top 5 pass rusher in the NFL. That's not his game. The best thing that the Philadelphia Eagles can do with Ojulari is try to get this guy to really fine-tune one pass rush move, which he has, one or two that you might want to have him fine-tune, but then also figure out the counter to that move. Sometimes you'll get a guy like Jalen Carter with a really, really nasty club move. And it's really paired with that hezzy right out of his stance. But then Carter also has a couple of counters. He can swim over the top. He could spin. So he keeps offensive linemen honest with the different pass rush counters that he has to his main move. I think with Ojulari, although he has some good moves, he knows how to pair it up well. He just has to develop it and fine-tune it. And I think that's what the Eagles will be able to potentially help this kid with. Now, I will say this. As a run defender, Ojulari is a very, very, very solid. And I think that's going to be his biggest value to the Eagles on day one. I think Ojulari on first and second downs will do a really good job, especially given how this guy's able to anchor down at the point of attack on front side runs, how he's able to control tight ends, how he's able to control offensive tackles. Here's a good example of that. You're going to get the tight end trying to block out essentially, and you're going to see him just straight up hold the gap. Right, you see that long 6'3.5" frame right there. Ojulari has one of the longest arm lengths you will see for a defensive end, and it flashes on tape. Right, plays like this where he's able to just straight up lock out against this tight end. He has outside containment. He also isn't going to get moved a whole lot at the point of attack. Just a really, really, really good job right there by Ojulari. But this is one of those things you're going to see a ton across his tape. On this one, you're going to get the wide receiver to try to block down on Ojulari, and he's going to just go right over the top. Right, he's going to use that arm length. He's going to try, he's going to extend it out. And essentially, he's going to be the guy that helps kind of make this play. Now, he doesn't statistically make this play, but you can see the impact within this play. Number 7 here, if he cleanly blocks this down, and let's say Ojulari gets absolutely no movement over the top, well, this offensive tackle gets out here, assuming the wide receiver also ends up getting to his block, the tackle gets out here, and he also does a good job with the block, and this play actually ends up hitting. But the play is not going to hit because Ojulari is going to do a really good job fighting through this. He's going to get over the top. And that offensive tackle here has to stop and make sure Ojulari is not able to blow this play up. And with that, you get a couple other guys that kind of go free on this play. Just a really, really good job to be a good run defender, get over the top on those down blocks, and just blow the entire play up. Ojulari is a very, very solid run defender. He uses the length really well. He has good size for a defensive end. And he also had 14 run stops. Keep in mind, he didn't play a whole lot of snaps this past season. He definitely did not get within rhythm. I think Ojulari is one of those guys, if he's fully healthy going into this season, he's going to end up having a solid impact for the Eagles. And I love the fact that Howie Roseman's bringing these guys in where they're not spending a ton of money, but they're guys that could potentially be productive, right? They're guys that probably have their best football in front of them. Kenyon Green, you make the trade for him. Azeez Ojulari, you bring him in. And they've done a couple other transactions this offseason so far that I think are very, very low risk and high upside. And to me, that's the way you want to potentially try to build, right? You want to try to win a Super Bowl by bringing in contracts where guys are going to kind of outplay those contracts. We saw how that worked out with Mekhi Becton. Obviously, was one of the big factors as to the Eagles having the type of run game that they had. And I think a guy like Azeez Ojulari is just a very, very, very solid potential signing. Here's another one where he's going to do a phenomenal job. I believe that's Lane Johnson. It may be the backup. It's kind of hard to tell from this angle. But you see him do a really good job with the hands. And he's going to just straight up take the tackle and push him backwards. Right? It's a good job right there by Ojulari to be able to set the front side gap and really push that guy back into that gap and stop this play from scoring a touchdown. Now, I should go ahead and also mention while we're talking about this guy's run defense, when he's the backside guy on zone runs specifically, he does a really, really good job chasing. And a part of how he's able to have success chasing on backside plays is because he's athletic, so he's able to turn well. He's able to read and recognize and just kind of chase things down. You see a play like this one here where he's on the backside of this outside zone towards the left. And he's going to just chase it down, right? He's going to make the play on this one. But he does this a lot. Here's another one. This time it's going to be an inside zone towards the left. And once again, he's going to just go right through the block. He's going to blow it up, right? So really, really good job here once again. He's going to end up having the tight end in front of him that's trying to reach him. And just look at how he gets underneath this guy. Pushes back number 88 and controls and just explodes right through him. That's a pretty good job right there by Ojulari to kind of get in there and help make the play. Here's another one where he's going to be the backside of a split zone. This time you're going to have the tight end that's going to be the wham block. So it's a backside block by the tight end. But again, he's still technically on the backside, right? He does a really good job just kind of getting over the top. He doesn't necessarily make the play, but one of the things with team defense is it's all about gaps. Right? It's not about one guy making a play, right? One guy has to set the front side and every guy has to kind of stay within their gaps. And the point of these cutback blocks is potentially to get a guy on the ground so you can have that cutback lane, right? So again, good job right there to be able to stay upright, chase it from the backside, and just do a nice job against the run. I'm excited to see what Ojulari brings to the Philadelphia Eagles. Good organizations, good coaching staffs, they get the best out of their players. And I think with the Eagles, you definitely have a situation where you're going to get the best out of these type of players. And I'm excited to see what this guy can actually develop into. I loved Ojulari coming out of Georgia. I thought the guy had a ton of upside. I thought he had a ton of potential. And of course, potential is one of those things that's not always realized. And sometimes it is, but it takes a little bit longer, right? We've seen guys like Jonathan Grenard and Malcolm Kuntz who broke out late, right? It took them time, but eventually they broke out. And I think with a guy like Ojulari, there's still upside, there's still potential. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video if you're an Eagles fan. I'm excited to really check in on Ojulari as the season kind of begins. Truth be told, the season could not come soon enough, right? There's so much potential in so many of these different teams. And the Eagles, obviously, they just won a Super Bowl. They have a legit chance to repeat, right? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video.